So, yeah, kind of expected this to happen. The NFL is going to be investigating the Cincinnati Bengals now. Because going into that game, it was clear something was wrong with Joe Burrow's hand. Or his elbow. Or his wrist. We don't know exactly. What we do know is that he was not put on the injury report. And the NFL is very strict with how they work their injury report. Where if a player's injured in any way, you have to list them as injured going into the game. Now, here's where the problems start to spark up a little bit. Cincinnati on Wednesday night posted a video of Joe Burrow getting off the bus with a hand cast on his hand. Okay? Problem is, they deleted that post shortly after. Once they got a lot of people asking questions and bringing it up as a potential problem, like, why does he have a hand cast? You guys didn't put him on the injury report. Sure, the NFL was asking questions. Cincinnati's Twitter's page deletes the post. Gets rid of the post. Can't have the post up anymore because now we're asking questions. Then you go into the fact that you go into that game, Joe Burrow's wearing a elbow pad. He's never worn an elbow pad in a game before. He's wearing an elbow pad on the exact elbow that he gets hurt in this game. We have Cincinnati Bengals deleting a video of them having Joe in a brace on his hand. He has an elbow pad he's never had before in a game. Then he gets hurt in this game. Not only does he get hurt in this game where it looks like he sprains his wrist, and that's what Zach Taylor said after, the whole situation happened. He comes out of this game, can't throw the ball, can't move his hand at all throwing the ball. But then weirdly, right, he goes to the locker room for x-rays. Comes out of the locker room, doesn't have a brace on his hand, doesn't have his fingers taped up or any type of immobilization of his arm, wrist, or hand. Which, that's really weird, right? Like, if you have, obviously, a sprained wrist, you would think they would grab a wrist strap or wrist thing, or a, what's it called? What's those things called? Like, not a, kind of like a bandage to put around the wrist so that he doesn't move it, right? Because if he has a sprained wrist, the last thing you want to do is move it around and hurt it worse. So you would think they would put, something on his wrist, because clearly it's like obvious now the guy's hurt. They don't do that. They do none of that, actually. And coming out of the halftime, his hand looked less swollen. Now, we made a video earlier talking about this, and potentially what happened is, based on what a doctor has said, a doctor said they do not believe it's a wrist injury. And it's actually instead a ligament problem with going down here that connects all the way up to these two fingers right here. You want to see that video and have a doctor explain exactly what I'm talking about? Go check out the last video. But that is exactly what they think happened. And that would make sense, right? Problem is, that's not an injury that just randomly happens. That's been a problem. And the Bengals have clearly then been covering it up. That's a problem. Let's talk about this. The NFL is investigating why the Cincinnati Bengals did not list Joe Burrow on the injury report this week with a wrist ailment that ultimately ruled him out of the game on Thursday night's loss to the Baltimore Ravens. League official told ESPN on Friday morning, Bengals have posted a video on X, or Twitter, on Wednesday night of Burrow getting off the team's bus, wearing what appeared to be a soft cast on his right hand, which they should have put back on, and they would have if he had a sprained wrist. If they went into the locker room, because the thing is, x-rays can show a lot of things. Cannot show ligament damage, and it cannot show ligament tears. Keep that in mind. They later deleted the post. That's the worst thing, too. They post a video of him coming off the bus. He has this cast on. And then they're like, ooh, that is not good PR because now there's going to be questions. Instead of answering the questions, and Joe does answer the question, by the way. He said that he felt sore. And he had this because whenever you play on Sunday, he had this cast for that said reason. And it was just to help him get over the soreness. Soreness of what happened Sunday also an elbow pad, also a cast, and now this. There is more things happening than there are letting on. I'll say it like that. Burrow appeared to be hampered by the injury against the Ravens before leaving the game in the second quarter, being ruled out shortly after halftime. That's another thing that's really interesting about all this. When he went to the locker room, he was not ruled out right away. He wasn't. He came out of the halftime, and he was still considered questionable. Which means, and again, if the guy is fully hurt, and you know he's hurt, and you know he can't come back in, they're going to rule him out right away. Because there's no reason not to. But if they think the player can come back in and maybe potentially play, they won't rule the player out. They ruled him out right away. And he even said on the sideline, they asked him, hey, like, what's going on? How long is it going to... He said, I don't know. Which shows more, it's a ligament tear. It's a ligament issue. And again, this is probably something that's been happening now for maybe a week. But Cincinnati hasn't been talking about it, and they've been covering it up and not posting on the injury report. And that's a problem. You cannot do that. In no way can you cover up injuries in the NFL. You have to report every injury. Reason why is for player safety. That's really what it comes down to. Because NFL teams in the past have been known very much for covering up injuries to keep the star players on the field, to try to get them to play more games and, win more games and stuff like that. Now, if a player wants to play when he has injury, it is what it is. He has the right to play. But you still have to list him on the injury report if he's injured. And this right here, I mean, again, depending on the severity of this ligament issue / problem, which again, it's not a wrist injury, it's a ligament all the way up to his fingers. This could be a severe problem, even worse than we think. The coach said he was not aware of Burrow dealing with any wrist injury before the game. See, I don't know if I believe that. I really don't know if I believe that part. You're telling me Joe did not mention one problem with his hand or wrist. At all. Like, at all. Before the game. He went into this game with an elbow pad on. You had no further indication that something was wrong. Why do you think he had an elbow pad on? Come on, Zach. I love Zach Taylor. The man things don't go by in the Bengals locker room, go by with the Bengals players without Zach Taylor knowing. He's the head coach. Like, I had no idea he had problems. Like, come on now. That is something where, come on now. That was the first time I saw anything about it, Taylor said, adding that he absolutely felt good about Burrows heading into the contest. I'm sure he might feel good about Burrow heading into the contest and thought he was fine, but that's probably not true that you did not know about anything when it came to his wrist or arm or thing. And again, maybe he didn't know about the wrist because the wrist isn't the problem. It's a ligament. So maybe that's the problem. But at the end of the day, everyone in the Bengals knew about this going into this game because they would not have gave him a elbow pad if they didn't know. Like, they know because they gave the guy an elbow pad. The NFL routinely looks into matters of compliance with its injury report policy. The league takes its injury report violation seriously. This is why I'm talking about this, guys. This is why I care about this. Look at that right there. With punishments including teams' fines or potential loss of draft picks. Team warned teams at the spring owner meeting that they are required to list all injuries. So we could potentially lose a draft pick because they didn't want to tell about Joe Burrow's injury. They wanted to just keep a secret and act like nothing happened, knowing he had an injury, knowing he had a hand problem, and they kept it secret, and now we could lose a draft pick because of that. This is the problem with this crap. Oh my gosh. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And last thing I'll say to end off this video, guys. Just a little key tip here. Oh, by the way, guys, these are, you know the snap counts from last week? Week 11, right? Look at week 11, right? Snap counts. Tell me what's wrong with that, what I just highlighted. Let me zoom in for you guys. I just really want you guys to see what I'm talking about. So these are snap counts from yesterday's game, right? Last night's game. Actually, let me do this. Okay. So the last player on this list here is Chuck Sizzle. This is Chuck Sizzle snap counts from yesterday's game. Right there. You see that right there? You see that number right there? That's how many snaps he had on offense last night. I get it. You want to save him for punt return, and you don't want to use him on the offense because you want to have a good punt returner, and he did return a punt this season. For Christ's sake, we spent a 4th-round draft pick on the guy. We took him over half the other players on the board that were amazing. You have to use him out there. You have to give him time. You have to see what he can do. You're going to lose Tyler Boyd this year. You're going to potentially lose T. Higgins. What are you going to do next year when Chuck Sizzle had 0 snaps on the year? So far, he has 3 snaps on the year on offense. 4 snaps on the year on offense. What are you going to do when Chuck Sizzle next year and Tyler Boyd's gone? Oh, well, Chuck Sizzle's job, put him out there. Yeah, in his technical first year because you didn't give him any snaps last year. You have to get Chuck Sizzle the ball more. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.